In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these puff flower granny squares. For materials, you're going to need 3 different colors of yarn. I'm using worsted weight yarn, a crochet hook. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle to weave in your ends. Let's get started. For round 1, we need to begin with a ring to work our stitches into. Now you can do a magic circle, however, we're going to be putting 8 puff stitches in that very first round. So I want to do something a little bit sturdier. I'm going to start with a slip knot here, and then I'm going to chain 4. You want to do this fairly loosely. Oops, 4. And then join in that first chain with a slip stitch to form a ring. This just gives a little bit more of a sturdy foundation to work all of those puff stitches into. So we're going to work 8 puff stitches all together, and after each puff stitch we're going to make a chain space for the next round. So I'm going to chain 1 to give the height of my puff stitch here, and we're going to yarn over, insert, pull up a loop 4 times. So yarn over, insert into that ring, grab the yarn and pull it up. You want to pull it up nice and tall so it's the same height as your chain stitch here. I'm going to do that 3 more times. Yarn over, insert, grab the yarn and pull it up, yarn over, insert, grab the yarn and pull it up. I like to give it kind of a little wiggle to get all of those loops to relax a little bit there. Get them all the same height. So you should have 9 loops total on the hook here. Yarn over and pull through all 9 of those loops, and then chain 1 to close the top of your puff. So this chain 1 that we just did is not the chain 1 that we need to do to create the space for the next round. You're going to chain 1 again after that. So technically you're going to chain 2, but the first chain that you're doing there is to close the top of your puff. So I'm going to do that a couple more times here. Next puff, yarn over, insert, grab the yarn and pull it up nice and tall, yarn over, insert, there's 2, and there's 3, and then there's 4. So once again, 9 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 9 of those loops, chain 1 to close the top of your puff, and then chain 1 again. So we've made 2 puffs. We need to make 8 altogether. So if you'd like, you can pause the video and continue to make your puff stitches with the chain 1 space in between, and I'll meet you back here when we get to the end of the round. So now I've just created my last puff here, so I have 8 altogether. I'm going to chain 1 to make that chain space for the next round, and then to close off the round I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first puff, so that chain space that we made to close the top of our puff. I'm just going to insert my hook and then pull through both of those loops to finish the round. And I'll show you what I do to finish this off. You can do however you like. I'm just going to cut the yarn, leaving a tail, and then I yarn over, pull that strand through, and give it a nice tug so it's nice and secure. Now you can leave your ends if you like and crochet right over the top of them. I don't like the ends being in the way, so I'll show you quickly how I weave my ends in after I finish the round. So I'm just going to go right back down with my yarn, and then I'm just going to work back and forth underneath a few of these strands just to hide my yarn and secure it. It's pretty good. And snip that really close. And now we're ready for round 2. For round 2, we're going to be joining with a new color of yarn. So I'm going to just make a little slip knot. You can join with any method that you prefer. I'm just showing you what I like to do here. And we're going to be joining in one of the chain spaces, so working in between the puffs in one of those chain spaces that we made in the first round. So I'm just going to insert my hook and grab that little loop and pull it through, and then chain one, and then I just cinch that down really nice and tight. And you can do any joining method that you prefer. So we're going to be making 16 puff stitches this time, 16 with the chain one space in between, just like we did in the last round. We're going to be making a puff stitch in the space in between the puffs, and then one puff stitch on top of each puff. So 16 all together, a chain one, and then work my puff. So yarn over, insert into that space, grab the yarn and pull it up nice and tall. Do that 3 more times. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. So once again, 9 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all 9 of those loops. Chain 1 to close your puff. Then chain 1 to create the chain space for the next round. Then we're going to be working right directly on top of that puff in that little chain that we made when we closed it off here. So yarn over, insert in that stitch right above the puff stitch, grab the yarn and pull it through, give it a nice tall tug there, grab the yarn and pull it up nice and tall, 2 more times. And number 4. So 9 loops on the hook again. Yarn over and pull through all 9 of those loops. One can get a little tricky at times. Then chain 1 to close the top of your puff, and then chain 1 again to create a space for the next round. So I'm going to show you a couple more times. We're going to work in between that puff space again. Yarn over, pull through all 9 of those loops, chain 1 to close the top, and then chain 1 again. And then this time, once again, working in the top of that puff. Three and 4. Yarn over and pull through, and chain 1 to close the puff, and then chain 1 again. So if you like, you can pause the video and continue to work around putting 1 puff stitch in between the puffs in that chain 1 space, and then putting 1 puff in the top with a chain space in between each of those. When you have 16, I will meet you back here and show you how to finish the round. I've just made my 16th puff. It should line up right on top of that last puff stitch from the first round. So once again, I'm going to chain 1 to create my chain space, and to close the end of the round, I'm just going to slip stitch like we did in the first round in the top of that puff stitch. I'm going to fasten off. Now we're ready for round 3. For round 3, we're going to once again be changing colors, and this is the round that we're going to square off our circle. So I'm going to once again begin with a slip stitch. You can join your yarn whichever method you prefer. But I'm going to work right in between those puff stitches to join. And cinch it down really tight. So we're going to be working a series of different stitches to create our square. I like to start with a corner. So I'm going to start with 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 double crochets to create the corner. And this is US terms. So for the first double crochet, I'm just going to chain 3, and that counts as my double crochet. And then I'm going to work 2 more double crochets. So to work a double, yarn over, insert your hook into the space, grab the yarn and pull it through. You might be tempted to pull it up really tall since you've been doing all those puff stitches. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Let's do that again. Double, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to chain 2 to make that corner space, and then work 3 more double crochets. So yarn over, insert, grab the yarn and pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 2 more times. Work a little bit quicker here. Okay, so now we've just created our corner. Now we're going to work in the next 3 chain spaces. So in between those puffs, in the first one we're going to put 2 half double crochets. So working in that chain space here, yarn over, insert, grab the yarn and pull it through just like we were doing with the doubles. We have 3 loops on the hook, pull through all 3 of those loops at once. So let's do that again. Yarn over, insert, grab the yarn and pull it through, pull through all 3. Then in the next chain space, I'm going to work 2 single crochets. So no yarning over this time, just insert, grab the yarn and pull it up, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2. Do that one more time. We made our 2 doubles. So now we're just going to go backwards and mirror what we did here. So I'm going to do 2 half doubles in the next space. So corner, half double, single, half double. Now we're ready for another corner. So 3 doubles. And I'm going to work kind of at my own pace here. If you like, you can pause the video at any time you feel like you need to catch up. So 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Two half doubles in the next space. Two singles in the next space. Two half doubles. Okay, so we worked our 3. Now we're ready for another corner. So 3 doubles, chain 2 to form the corner, 3 doubles. And then our next 3 spaces here, 2 half doubles, two singles. Like I said, you can pause at any time to catch up. Just trying to get this round all in one shot here. 2 half doubles. So now we're ready for our next corner, our final corner actually. 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Two more here. So we're left with 3 spaces. So that's our 2 half doubles. There's 1, 2 singles, and then 2 half doubles to finish. And then to close off our round, we're going to be working in the top of that chain 3 from the very beginning. Just insert your hook, grab the yarn and pull through to make a slip stitch. We're done with round 3. And here's our finished square after I've woven in all of the ends. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more crochet tutorials.